I was on social media and I saw some other people doing it and I was like, this is funny, you know, and then I started thinking about it and wait, I wonder if there's a world record tied to this.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast for everyday runners. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher, and if you run, you're a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories and we celebrate finish lines and milestones together. This week's episode is brought to you by Gooder. If you're a runner and you don't know this brand, you've been living under a rock. I probably own 20 pairs of Gooder sunglasses, and they are my go-to. I wear them in the car, I wear them on a run, I wear them for my everyday sunglasses. They have a style, color that fits absolutely everyone. They don't move, so there's no slipping and bouncing mid-run, so you don't have to worry about adjusting them. They are lightweight, comfortable, they just work. And they're also polarized, so they have UV 400 protection. So you're actually covered with the sun protection part of it, not just style. And Gooder started because running glasses were expensive and over-engineered and not so cute. So they set out to make something affordable, stylish, and all performance, and that is still exactly what they are. If you have never bought a pair of sunglasses from their website, you can go to gooder.com, GOODR.com/AllieB, ALOYB, for $10 off your first order. That's gooder.com/AllieB, and thank you so much to Gooder for supporting this podcast. All right, and now for this week's episode. Zach, Burton, and I have been crossing paths in the Indy running community for a while now, most recently at the Full Mo 50K, where he ran for the second year in a row on not a ton of training and without a lot of fuel, which is nuts. We talk about that. Zach is also a former music director for radio, WZPL. He is a workaholic, walk-on collegiate runner, and a Guinness World Record holder, which we dig into a ton. He and his friends made history twice by running a half marathon in a 4- and 5-person caterpillar costume, and they broke the world record twice. So I loved asking him all of the questions about this experience. You have to go see the pictures and videos too for yourself. Here's my conversation with Zach. We have world record holder Zach Burton here today.
Yes. Let's not dig into what the actual record is, but we can say world record holder. I'm good with that.
I think when we dig into it, people are going to be very impressed, just so you know. You don't think it's impressive?
No, I mean, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
No, it's definitely funny.
Okay, it is definitely funny. The pictures, I didn't want you to stop sharing pictures of it. Anyway, we will get into it. I did want to talk about the Full Mo right away because that's what just happened as we record this. How was your race? I didn't even see you outside of at the expo for like a moment.
Yeah, no, it was, it's funny, and I feel like it came back to haunt me. The previous year, I've been telling people, like, I'm never going to run a marathon again. I've done it once, never again. It's too hard. But I did the Full Mo last year, and I was like, this is actually not terribly bad because you can put the race into bite-sized chunks. Obviously when you're up in Sheridan, you don't really know the area, but when you start making it down to Westfield, you're only a few miles to 146 and only a few miles to Midtown and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So I went into it this year with the mentality, dragged along a friend of mine, that it was going to be relatively easy or similar to last year. And I want to say by mile 20, I was just beat, and I was shocked I made it in. So it was brutal to say the least.
How was the weather last year compared to this year?
It's a good question. I honestly don't remember. Yeah. I don't think it was the weather. I can use that as an excuse, but the issue this year is I just didn't train.
Well, yeah.
So
that'll do it.
That is what it is. So I don't think I broke 25 miles a week in my whole training.
Okay. So. Gosh, to be young. It's so impressive. Yes. I mean, it's crazy to think that people don't necessarily train for that and can just bang it out. I mean, even if it's not necessarily the time or performance you wanted, it's still amazing that you did it.
Right.
So,
no, I mean,
congrats.
I feel like that's so interesting. And I said earlier that, I'd never run a marathon again. And you nailed it on the head. It's in a marathon, I feel like everyone's so focused on what time they get. Whereas in ultra, it's, can you just do it? Like, who cares what the time is? Can you just run the mileage?
Yes.
So I think that's what makes it a lot easier to just not really worry about it or set any expectations on yourself. Just go out and do it and see what happens.
Yeah. I loved it for that reason.
Yeah.
because I'm such a road racer and I've cared about times in certain points of my life in certain races, and it's exhausting. I feel like my body recovered way better from this race than any marathon I've run.
Yeah, no, I was out on the golf course Sunday afternoon, so
Oh my
I was
gosh.
out walking golf again. So that's the best recovery you can have.
Yeah, that's impressive. So, what marathon did you do as your first marathon outside of the full mo?
I did Monumental, gosh, 2 years ago,
Okay.
and it was terrible. It was the most pain I've ever been in my life, and I never intend to try to do it again. So
That's, you're on record saying that. So we shall
yes, I
see,
am.
Zach. We
Yeah,
shall see. I know in early episodes of this podcast, I said I was never interested in running an ultra marathon. And now, fast forward, it's like, well,
yeah,
here we are. But
yeah. It's
yeah,
funny how that happens. Yeah.
yeah. But you were a runner in college, which I actually didn't know about you until I started digging in. And you were a walk-on. So
Yeah,
you
I
were
would.
a collegiate athlete. Don't give me the, you did
Yeah,
it.
I would take that with an asterisk. It's funny. So I never ran competitively in high school. I didn't really even get into running until senior year, maybe.
Wow.
Then got injured a lot in college. I would try to pick up my speed and shin splints, whatever. And I was at that point where, okay, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I should probably learn the right way how to run and not just try to go out and, do whatever you thought was right, which
Right.
never seems to be right. And, went and joined the team. And it was funny because I had this caveat with Coach Stevens. I was like, dude, look, I have a job and I'm in school. This is going to be tough, but I need the education from you. And it was a very interesting thing because I very rarely went to practice. I was kind of sent the agenda of what I was supposed to do because my schedule in college, I lived on the west side of Indy, northwest side. So I would drive every morning up to Anderson University, which is about an hour drive from where I was at. I would go to school from 9 o'clock to, whenever. And then I would try to do some form of training and then come back, and I started work at 5. So I was working nights, and we can get into that here in a second.
Oh my gosh, Zach.
It was ridiculous. So I didn't really have time to put in team training, which, I regret because I feel like that's the whole part of being a college athlete, that you get that team rah-rah, which we have gotten some way. But yeah, I mean, I competed in a few meets. Like I said, I was injured pretty much the whole time. So I have it on my resume, I guess, but it never really happened. It feels like.
Yeah, that's so crazy. What you just described makes me tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Fitting all of that in. But you said that you are a self-proclaimed workaholic too. So do you just find that that's your natural inclination, is just to fill all of your time?
Yeah, I hate being bored. I always like having something to do. And, I've never really understood the ability to just unplug. So my mind is always on, and if I have a question about something in work, personal, whatever it is, then it's okay, I got to go find the answer, and that just never shuts off. So
yeah,
you just can't.
Are you from? So wait, where did you say you were from? That was an hour from Anderson. I missed it.
Yeah, so grew up in Pike Township.
Pike Township. Okay. So do you think you get some of the work ethic from your parents? Did they work a lot when you were growing up?
Not necessarily. My dad was in the golf business, and he worked what I would say a traditional 9 to 5. My mom was an independent contractor in healthcare, which she worked from home, so there was this great work-life balance of, hey, I feel like as a kid I never saw my mom work because it was she worked when I napped, or she worked when I was outside playing with my brother. So no, I don't know where it came from, but yeah, I'm just wired kind of a weird way. I don't know.
Yeah. As a kid, did you play other sports? I mean, obviously you didn't run, but what other sports did you play?
Yeah, I warmed the bench a lot in baseball. I was a pitcher only. So that means, you play 1 out of 5 games or something.
Interesting.
So played that since, my parents put me into it first thing growing up, T-ball. And then I quit it pretty much freshman year of high school. I was like, This isn't for me. I'm burnt out. It was something, hey, dad's telling me to do this, so I have to do this. But no, it was never a serious thing.
Yeah. What about golf, since your dad was in that industry?
I hated golf until recently. I mean, you grow up on a golf course and you have unlimited ability to play whenever you want, and you just never take advantage of it. Because as a kid, you're like, golf has got to be the most frustrating sport in the entire world.
Yeah.
I'll go on record in saying that. So as a kid, you just can't roll with the punches. But I think the older you get, the more you understand like the principles in it, and it becomes more enjoyable. Plus, also as an adult, you can appreciate, hey, I'm out just like with my family, or headphones in, walking this course. I don't need to listen to the outside world. I got 2 hours to myself.
Yeah,
that's enjoyable as well.
Yeah, I try to play golf. Well, my parents moved to a golf course when I was in college. And so I had access to that when I was younger, and I wasn't interested at all. And now I regret it because I'm like, dang, I could have maybe been better, a lot better than I am now. But I can play, I can get out there, and I've stopped being so frustrated because you're right. It is, if you get mad at every shot that you mess up, then you're not going to have a good time.
You'll be mad for the full time. I mean, right. I always say I'm a bad golfer that hits good shots. So keep the expectations as low as you possibly can.
Yeah. Okay. So then did you study radio in college? Was that what you intended to do after you graduated?
This goes back to high school. So I was a bad high school student, and my senior year, I got the opportunity to go to a place called J. Everett Light, which is connected to North Central High School. And they had a radio program, music, radio, whatever. And I'm like, this is for old people, but my teacher's telling me I need to do it, so I'm going to do it. And ended up falling in love with it, and went to college and was like, okay, that was fun in high school. Well, the high school had a station. Now at Anderson University, there is no station. So that was like a cool stint of my life. And then pretty quickly in college, I realized that I was broke. I had no money, and I had to make money somehow. So I did whatever I knew what to do. I just applied to every radio job I possibly could find, and ultimately got the bottom of the barrel position at a company called Intercom, which owns multiple stations in our market, and the rest is history. But no, I mean, I had no intent in college that radio was going to be the future. I thought I was going to go into marketing, so that's what I studied. So obviously none of that's true. But yeah, my whole world has been, I don't know, I feel like I'm a 27-year-old that feels like a 40-year-old because I've had like so many weird experiences. But
yeah, it's funny. I feel the opposite. I'm almost 40 and I feel like I'm in my 20s, just trying to figure it out. But you have had a lot of different experiences throughout your life already, which is, I actually didn't know that you were that young. I mean, not because I thought you looked old or anything, but because of all you've done so far.
I have gray hairs. My wife keeps pointing them out. So,
they start coming, and I do too. I embrace them. So it's bound to happen. Okay. What was it like working in radio for as long as you did? I have one of my best friends who was in my wedding is on the radio in Grand Rapids. So I've heard from her some about the industry, but she's morning show.
Yep.
Have you done kind of all different types of jobs while you were there?
Yeah, so my first job in radio was promotions. It's the bottom of the barrel. You just get in, and it's, hey, I'm going to go pitch a tent for the radio station at this concert as a promotion thing, right? Hand out beer koozies or whatever. Yes. And then one day I got the courage to walk into the programming director's office, and, for those who don't know, the programming director is the guy that runs the station, right? He's the guy. And I said, hey, I was in high school radio. I want to be on real radio. And he said, no. And he said, keep trying. You can do this, 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 and this, but, we'll revisit that when we get there. Then fast forward a few months, and I think he felt bad, and he put me on a weekend show when no one listens, right? 7 to midnight on a Saturday night. No one's listening to it.
Oh my gosh.
And, I took that to heart, and then I might screw up the timeline here, but it all happened relatively quick. I would say 6 months from that time, I was promoted to full-time nights, so every single day. And then maybe 6 months from then, I was promoted to the music director and afternoon drive, which is like, aside from the morning, like the time to have in radio.
Yeah.
And doing all of this as like a 20-year-old kid, which makes no sense.
So crazy.
But yeah, it was odd. So yeah, it was music director. You're programming the entire station. So like every song you hear, I was the guy professionally making playlists, if you will.
Yeah.
And, fielding calls from record labels saying, hey, this new song's the hottest song in the world. And you have to say, no, it's not.
Yeah, you're like, sorry.
This. And then during COVID, a buddy of mine, Jackson, who was doing the evening show at the time, we realized, hey, how can we capitalize on radio during COVID? Because no one's in their cars. And you know, it was one of those things like, well, we're getting calls from record labels pushing songs all the time. Why don't we try to get interviews with these artists? So we set up a podcast. We called it Two Faces for Radio. I think we made it, maybe 70 or so episodes, and got to talk to some very fascinating people.
Yeah.
And it was a really exciting time. I wouldn't trade that experience for the world, but I have stories beyond belief, and it was a ton of fun.
Give us maybe one or two of your top stories.
I don't know if they're necessarily stories. It's more of like just people that their perceptions were different than I think we imagined. And I'm not going to spill that for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah.
But no, I mean, we had some cool times. Like we got to go to Lollapalooza with, you know, backstage passes and interview some of the artists that were performing there. At WZPL, which is the station I was at, we threw our own concerts. So we got to kind of do a takeover there as well. But yeah, I mean, I would say seeing the behind the scenes of events and personally putting together or having a hand in these concerts is probably the coolest experience I had in radio, if I could pick it out. But the thing that drove me nuts about it is that's 1% of the time, where the rest of the time you're sitting behind a desk plugging in songs.
Yeah.
Most of which you don't like in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite interview? I saw Sabrina Carpenter on your Instagram feed, like that.
Yeah.
I mean, some big ass names. Like, do you have some people that surprised you when you interviewed them, or what stands out?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, I have to go back and remember everyone we had. But no, we talked to Sabrina Carpenter actually a handful of times. And this is before, you know, she went on tour with Taylor Swift and everything and really blew up.
Yeah.
But she's extremely nice. Another person that's really gotten popular since was Tate McRae. We interviewed her, again, 3 or 4 times. But I would say, like, one of the funniest interviews that I had that I did not expect was probably Avril Lavigne, of all people.
My gosh,
I thought
her.
she was going to be, you know, hey, I've been famous forever, and I'm going to act like it. But, you know, Avril's, like, the nicest person ever. She's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
So that was a ton of fun.
Oh, I would love to meet her. She was on Call Her Daddy podcast, and I loved that interview because she was, I mean, this is dating myself compared to you. I graduated high school in 2004, like prime Avril Lavigne time. So that's pretty cool.
That's so funny. No, she was awesome. But no, I know I'm missing some people, but I can't remember that.
Well, it also has to be such a blur. Long ago, and a blur because it's virtual. I feel like virtual is so weird compared to in person, because obviously it's almost like, you know, I feel like I'd be sitting there talking to somebody like that and be like, is this real life?
Yes, exactly.
Because it's actually happening.
A lot of these people, you know, Jason Derulo, if you interview Jason Derulo during COVID, you're like, I see this guy on my phone all the time. And he's sitting right there and he's responding to what I'm saying. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like, is this AI? It was so weird.
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know, if we redid this today, everyone would think it would be AI. And I mean, even back then, it's like, how did you splice the video perfectly that he answered your, like, no, this was actually a real conversation.
Yeah, so cool.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so you mentioned working nights while in college, so I'm assuming that's what this time of your life was. When did you sleep?
So I'll air out the radio industry while we're at it. The radio industry is like very fake, I think. And the reason I say that is there's no such thing, I mean, other than mornings. Like mornings is like the real caveat to all of radio. But other than mornings, everything is pre-programmed, typically a week out. Callers are never live, and everything is pre-recorded from a break standpoint. So yeah, I would be on until midnight, but I would show up at like, 5 or 6, record the whole show, and be out by like 7 by the time the show started.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like midnight.
You were sitting there.
I was home in bed by 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So
well, thank God.
It wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah. I know. I never knew that until I knew I had a friend that was in radio, and I was like, "What do you mean it's not live? Isn't that the whole point?" She's like, "No, like."
No. If you call me saying, "Hey, I want to hear this song. Can you play it?" I'm going to say no, or I'll say, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do." Right? And I'll record the phone call. So then when that song comes up, I'll play it right before, and like, look, this is all real.
Yeah, this request was 3 weeks ago, but here we go.
Yeah, exactly. You just bank those things and wait for the right time.
So do you remember back to the running topic, when did you run your first race outside of collegiate athletics?
Running races happened before college. I would say it would have been my senior year of high school. I ran the Indy Mini.
Okay.
And I only ran the Indy Mini because that's what my mom always ran. You know, my mom ran one race every single year. It was the Indy Mini and nothing else.
Sounds like my mom. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the longest time, I would say up until 2 years ago, that was me too. As you'll find out through this interview, is I don't like running. Like, it's not like my favorite thing in the world, but it was like the Indy Mini for me always served as a benchmark of, hey, do I still have fitness from what I had last year? Or am I improving or am I going backwards? It's more of just like, for me, it's the same course. It's not like I'm doing the Indy Mini and then doing Geist and wondering why I lost 5 minutes. It's same course. If you lose 5 minutes, you lost 5 minutes of fitness from the previous year. Figure it out. See what you can do.
So how many Indy Minis have you done?
You know, it was funny. My wife and I were trying to calculate this. Maybe 10.
Okay.
Maybe 8. I don't really know.
Well, when I did my 10th, they put like a little tiny piece of paper in my packet. It was
Okay,
literally
so
a white
not there yet.
piece of paper that said congratulations on, and it didn't even have color on it. It was just like somebody printed it on a plain piece of paper and was like, congrats on 10 times.
It's cool that they noticed, though.
It was cool they noticed. I have it around somewhere. But yeah, so you got to be close to that. Or maybe you did, and I had to go back.
Maybe you got thrown out with the little safety pins or something.
All the other papers that are in there. Does your wife run at all?
She doesn't. She has to take care of our kid while I'm running. So,
you know, somebody's got to do
family.
It. Yeah. Right. Okay, so a lot of Indy Minis. When did you start venturing into other races? What other races have you done?
Yeah, the first real venture was Monumental when I decided, hey, I'm going to try the marathon. And obviously that's not including running around like a golf course or something for a cross-country race. That's separate. Yeah. But the Monumental was my second real race. And after that, you know, we got into, hey, are we going to do this Caterpillar thing? Right. And then that stemmed into what it stemmed into. And we added a few more races. Then obviously I did the full move for the last 2 years. But still, I'm not the guy that's going to sign up for 4 different races a year.
Interesting.
I don't care that much.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a one and done guy. I might do the full mo every year. I might do the mini every year. And that's it.
So interesting. Okay.
Put it on cruise control.
Right. Well, how did the Caterpillar thing come about? Whose idea was it?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you like a great inspirational story, but I can't. I mean, it was literally me bored one day, and I was on social media, and I saw some other people doing it, and I was like, "This is funny." You know, scroll past it. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it, and wait, I wonder if there's a world record tied to this. I don't know, but that's such a random thought, and you look it up, and next thing you know, there is, and it's like, wait, I can run that fast, and I have a couple other friends that can run that fast, and next thing you know, I'm in the group chat with my buddy Kate and Ian saying, guys, you know, hear me out, but here's an idea. And we run together pretty much every weekend around the area. But they were like, are you serious or are we joking right now? Because this doesn't seem serious. I was like, guys, we're going to do this.
Oh my gosh.
And so obviously that's only 3 people. So we had to reach out to Zach Davenport as well, who was still, actually, no, I think he just graduated Anderson at that time. And said, hey, you're doing this too. And he said, okay. And next thing you know, we had 4, and then it was a real thing, and we had to get everything in check and see if we could make it happen.
Did you send them the video to tell them, like, to explain what you were trying to do, or did you at that point not have the video and you're just kind of articulating it to them via text, and they're like, what?
Yeah, it was the latter. You know, once the video came up on my feed, you know how it is finding that first post on Instagram that disappears forever.
Yeah.
So, you know, I email the city of Fishers, you know, the ones who put on the Geist half marathon, because I had to do some research, and it's, you know, Guinness requires like a 3-month pre-approval process. So realistically, if you
3 months.
Yeah. So if you say, hey, I want to break a record, you have to apply to beat the record. Okay. And then you find out pretty much in 3 months if you can do it or not.
Okay.
So from the day we saw the video and decided, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to apply. Geist was really the only race, that and Monumental, that were coming up that were good half marathons. And at the time, I was like, Monumental is way too big of a race. They're never going to let us in with this
they'd probably be
giant
like, no.
monstrosity. So I was like, oh, let me try reaching out to the city of Fishers. I'm probably not going to get in touch with anyone because this is such a stupid request. And sure enough, we did. And we had found out that it was kind of like the laughing stock of the office, and they forgot to follow up with us originally.
Oh, that's great. So you had to follow up with them?
Yeah, and they're like, sorry, this is...
Sorry, we've
been talking about it, but we haven't been talking with you about it.
That's so good.
And they, shockingly, they were like, yeah, let's do it. And then it was like, uh-oh, this is actually real now, and we have other people involved. And then we reached out to Athletic Annex, who's been great to us, and Larry, who I'm sure you've had on the podcast.
He was episode 9. God love Larry.
Wow. Yeah, Larry jumped right on top of it. He was, okay, yes. This screams Athletic Annex. We are going to do, like, you let us know what you need. And he was absolutely great to us. And then, there goes all the pressure. And now we are stuck trying to beat a world record in a caterpillar costume.
Yes, but now we have to talk about the caterpillar costume itself, because you didn't just like Google or like look on Amazon and be like, where can I get a 4-person caterpillar costume? You made it, correct?
Yeah. So there had been other people. Obviously, there was a previous record before us. So there had been other people that attempted it. So it required a little bit of research to, okay, it's fun. Yeah, I can run this distance, whatever. How do you actually do this? And we found that you can buy these kids' tunnels on Amazon. These caterpillar tunnels.
Yeah, okay.
They're this canvas material. They flex. It's awesome. So we bought those, and then I shouldn't say we bought those. Athletic Annex was graceful enough to buy those for us. Those came in, and they got backpack straps as well. So we're trying to figure out, hey, we're all guys. Who knows arts and crafts and sewing? Because we have to figure out a way to attach these backpack straps onto this caterpillar costume. Because we have no idea. And by the grace of God, the caterpillar costume, like the kids' tunnels, come with loops on them.
Right, they do.
So you could connect the backpack to the loop. So there was zero extra work that was required. So if you just buy those kids' tunnels and then backpack straps, you can clip in the backpack straps to the loops and then just keep the thing going. And next thing you know, you have a running caterpillar costume.
Interesting. Yeah, I can totally picture that, because that's how you collapse the tunnels to like store them. Yes. They have these little, I totally know what you're talking about. Yep. Wow. Well, how nice is that?
It was extremely easy. Then for the actual race, like we did one training run, and I think it was Ian's strap failed.
Okay.
We did it at the Hawthorns, so no one would see us.
Okay, because I just up the Monon, like.
Yes, exactly. That would have been atrocious. But no, we did the one training run, and Ian's little strap was failing. So we were like, okay, without getting ridiculous, how can we put like infrastructure inside this thing to make it sustain 13 miles? Because guys, we've made it 3 miles and it's breaking.
Yeah.
So luckily, we never had it for the first race and the second race. The costume never failed since the one training run, and we've done no other training runs other than that one. But we had ropes on the inside. You can see it in some of the photos where like one rope would connect the back of my backpack strap to the front of the other guys. Mm-hmm. So if the costume completely broke, it would fall down and the rope would still hold it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was not a very complicated construction. It's the easiest thing to make.
And I can't remember, are the eyes googly eyes, or are they like just eyes, stationary eyes?
We should have done googly eyes. That would have been... Yeah, we should have. No, they're just stationary eyes, the ones that came with the tunnels.
Now I'm imagining you guys running in the eyes, like bouncing around. It'd be
I know, that would have been very...
That's an upgrade, when you move to 6 or whatever.
Yes, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, okay.
Not ever.
Oh, dang it. Okay, so the rules, because Guinness Book of World Records, like you said, 3-month process. I'm assuming then after that process, there was a window of time you had to run the race. Is that true? Like... Once they approve you're going for the record?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. But no, it was more or less just, hey, get approval. And then there's like another approval step. You have to get like pre-approval of the costume design.
Okay, of the design.
That's a check the box. And then from there you run the race. And then you have to, we can dive into this. There's so many evidence pieces you need to collect. And then send it up to Guinness. And then when you send it up to Guinness, I think the first attempt, it took 3.5 months to finally get you did it. You broke a record.
Wow.
So all in all, I mean, from applying to running the race and getting the certificate in the mail, like this closest you could do it is like 7 months, which is crazy.
Okay, that is kind of crazy. I mean, I get it. They want to make sure people aren't making stuff up, but...
Yeah.
What were the stipulations? Because I remember when you and I first met, you telling me like, okay, the costume can't fall apart. You have to all stay connected. So like if
Yep.
somebody has to go to the bathroom, like you're all going to the bathroom. I don't know.
Yes.
So tell people what some of the stipulations were for success.
Yeah, so I think the hardest one was you have to have someone film it, the whole thing. So for both races, there was the 5-person costume and the 4-person costume, but there was always one extra person that ran alongside us with a GoPro the entire time.
Okay.
And, God bless his soul, Caleb ran with us the first time, who was going to run with us in the 6th, but ultimately got injured. But he had not trained at all prior, and his heart rate was redlined at like 200 the entire 13 miles around Geist, which is
That's terrifying.
unreal.
Yeah.
I don't think my heart rate's ever gone up that high, but
I'm glad nothing happened. My goodness, based on some crazy stories I've heard recently. Anyway, continue. Yeah.
But no, you have to have someone film the entire thing, which is very difficult, especially when cameras run out of battery.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, you need to have witness statements. So a couple people that have ran by you or that were there, they have to say, hey, yes, I saw it. This actually happened.
Wow.
As far as like the actual costume, it just needs to stay connected the entire time. Everybody needs to be in it and move it. If someone needs to stop and use the restroom, you cannot move forward. It's like they can get out, like technically speaking, they can get out of the costume as long as the costume doesn't
move.
move.
Okay, interesting.
But we had always joked about that, and we said that we were all going to pour into the porta potty with them.
Yeah, totally.
Because put some extra pressure on the guys.
Carefully shut the door, like on the.
Yeah, nobody look in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So that was really it. I mean, it was a pretty straightforward rule book they sent. It was like 2 pages, and a lot of it was just fluff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We still haven't submitted for the second one yet.
How
We're
come?
Still
collecting the evidence.
Yeah, we had a little mishap with the video, which isn't a big deal. It's not going to be the end of the world, but we just have to splice 2 different videos together. Okay. And I think we're having. I'm not the guy in charge of videos, so I don't know what's going on. Zach Davenport's a professional photographer, so we just threw everything his way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll submit here in the next couple of weeks, but we're not really in a hurry like we were the first time.
Yeah, the first time you're like, we want to, say we did this.
Yeah, we all have plaques now, right?
Yes, we want the plaque.
It's not that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah. So, and that's all done online, I'm assuming? Like, do you ever speak to a human through this process, or is it all virtual, like online?
I wish you did.
Yeah.
That'd make life a whole lot easier. No, it's all online. You have like your own message portal where you can message your record analyst or whatever, and it takes 2 weeks for them to reply to every single message. So I don't know if they just have 1 person or 2 people. I don't know what's going on, but it is the most painful thing in the world. And, there were some misunderstandings, I think, in the second time around that I'm not going to talk about today. But another cool thing about this second attempt is we're having a documentary come out from a guy that filmed like the whole build up and the race and everything.
So good.
So he got some added drama in the pre-race stuff, but.
Excellent. I remember walking by you guys and taking a quick. I have a video of you guys from the start because you were close to the Hall of Champions where Ainsley's Angels lines up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. They made us go over there because they're like, we do not want you around the elite athletes.
Yeah.
Not even close.
You stay away from the elites.
Exactly.
And then you started the whole race, which I didn't realize. I pictured you guys running by us, which I really was looking forward to. And then I realized that was not going to happen, which that'd be kind of cool for you guys, though.
It was so strange because none of us knew what was going on. Like we saw the race director for the 500 festival the day before, and she had said like, "Hey, we're going to start you guys a couple minutes before everybody else," and we were like, "Okay, like what time? Like what time do I need to set my alarm for and be there?" Because again, you're coordinating not only like 6 people, 6 men, but a cameraman, a couple other camera people that are doing the documentary, then all of our families. So like this is kind of crazy. And then we showed up, and I think that had all changed. And I still don't even know what time we went off, because the time we actually went off, none of us were ready. You can go back and see it in the video that we were like, oh wait, because we had just gotten done with an interview with the TV station there, and we were just so discombobulated, and off we went.
Yeah. So. Oh my gosh. Because I'm assuming that was probably live television.
Yep.
At the start. Yeah, that's crazy. Nerve-wracking. Probably not for you. You're like, eh.
I mean, it is. It's, again, I haven't done radio in probably 5 years now, so I
guess that's fair.
It seems new to me.
Yeah. Well, that's so crazy that you had essentially the whole course. I'm assuming you didn't get passed at all because you guys were so fast.
Oh no, we got smoked by
Oh, you
mile
did by the
4, I think. The elites all passed us. I mean, if we ran a 1:30.
Okay, never mind.
I think we started 5 minutes ahead.
Okay, math is too hard for me. What was the time that you had to run?
1:48.
1:48. Okay,
Yeah.
so originally, do you remember, like, before the Geist one, what the world record was at that time that you were like, oh, I can smash that? This episode is brought to you by the Noogs Make Your Run More Fun Challenge of the Week. One thing I did this week to make my run more fun was, instead of running in 90 degrees and 95% humidity, I ran inside on my treadmill, and I started the new movie with Jennifer Lopez and Brett Goldstein called Office Romance. It's on Netflix. So that made it go by so fast. In fact, I wanted to stay on the treadmill longer to finish it. Another way to make your runs more fun is fueling with Noogs. They taste like sour gummy candy, but they're designed for performance with quick digesting carbs, essential electrolytes, and an easy to chew texture. You can use code ALLYB, ALLYB, for 15% off your first order and get free shipping when you grab 2 or more cartons, lower 48 only. I also recommend the Alley combo, which includes my 2 favorite flavors, which are electric watermelon and blue raspberry blast. Also, when you're gearing up for the 4th of July, you should try the poolside pop flavor. It tastes just like those red, white, and blue popsicles. So good. Click the link in the episode description to grab yours now, and here is to having more fun on the run. Now back to the show. Do you remember, like, before the Geist one, what the world record was at that time that you were like, oh, I can smash that?
Yeah, it was 1:41.
Okay, so you're like,
So
yeah,
that
we
was,
got that.
yeah, I had run a couple again, I don't race much. That's just not what I do. So I had run a couple half marathons in the 1:20, 1:25 range. And I know I'm the slowest guy in the group. So I was like, okay, guys, we can manage this. If I can do it, you can do it.
You gotta go to a small race and, like, break the tape as a caterpillar. It'd be so great.
Oh man, no, yeah.
You're like, I'm done. I never want to see the caterpillar again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were in the front, is that right?
Yes.
You're the front. And then who's the back? Who's the caboose?
Originally, it was Ian in the
Okay.
first. The way we did it was we went in order from slowest to fastest.
That's
So
right.
it was me, my buddy Cade, Zach, and then Ian. Ian's an animal. Ian's one of those guys that he'll never race. Like, the 2 races we did the last 2 years are going to be the only 2 races Ian ever does. You'll never see him on run sign up, but he's an animal. And then for the last one, David Stansberry was in the back because we just added him on.
Okay. I guess that does make sense because obviously you don't want the front person dragging and straining the costume. That would not work.
If Ian was in the front, then yeah, I would have died of a heart attack.
Are you the tallest one?
No, we're all relatively the same
Okay.
height.
Because I was
Yeah.
picturing you being in the front and then, like, well, could everybody see? But I guess you also kind of ran beside each other, kind of, too. Not always just, like, right in a line.
For the most part, we were in a line, and you bring up a good point. I mean, it was, if you're anyone except for the front guy, me, you can't see in front of you, because if you look down, all you have is this giant tube. So, especially the Indy Mini, where you have a lot of potholes
Oh my
and train
gosh.
tracks and things like that, it took a lot of communication, and it is hard to communicate someone that's like 30 feet behind you while there's music playing to your right and people cheering to your left.
Yeah.
So I feel bad. I'm sure there were a few ankles rolled, but we made it through it.
It would be so bad. Yeah, the caterpillar goes down and, like, rips in half. Like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. We were worried about that, especially like on the in and out of the Mini, the IMS, where
Yeah,
you go
right.
down really steep and then back up.
Yeah.
I was going to be slowing down. I for sure thought we were going to trip somebody.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Made
the
it through it.
communication aspect of it and not being able to really see. That
we
would be really
figured
hard.
that out like right away when we first tried it on and did our
Yeah.
one training run in it. We were at the Hawthorns, and the way the Hawthorns is, it's literally a neighborhood that's a loop. It's about 3.5 miles, and we were coming out of the main entrance by the clubhouse, and we turned left, and we almost, I don't know how we didn't do it, but we should have clotheslined a biker that was just doing loops. Because I went to the far end and everyone else went to the short because there was just no communication. Because I was like, I'm going on a run. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And we created this 25-foot blockade in the middle of
God.
Hawthorns on complete accident. We just didn't know what we were doing. So that was kind of the wake-up call of, okay, yeah, maybe we should figure out how to do this.
Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, the biker. Like, to see
poor
and be
guy.
like, oh my gosh.
Well,
Oh,
out of
yeah.
all the things that could have happened to me on this Saturday morning ride, this is it.
Yeah, right. like did not see this coming at all. Yeah. Okay. So the Caterpillar's done. What makes it, why are you just like, oh, we're good. Run its
Again,
course?
like I don't think any of us care that much to keep pushing it. I have a family, Cade. I mean, not everyone's married, but Cade has a little one on the way, and it's just one of those things like coordinating a lot of people's schedules that all have jobs, all have wives or soon to be kids or whatever.
Yeah.
That's near impossible.
Yeah.
And then, the hardest part, at least in my opinion, about this whole thing is you have to get 5 or 6 people, whatever it is, to the start line healthy and able to do it.
That is such a good point.
Which is extremely difficult. We lost Caleb literally with a week to go for the Mini and had to find a replacement that quickly.
I didn't know that. Whoa.
Yeah, he had dual compartment syndrome, I think is what it's called, surgery in his calves. And it had been bothering him, and he couldn't get it to tame down. So,
dang,
it was a sprint to find somebody else. But luckily, we were able to do it.
Yeah, how did you find somebody else?
Like I said, we have to have someone run with us and film it. So David had already volunteered to do that. So we just said, okay, David, you're the backup. Jump on in.
Yeah.
And then we just had to find a new cameraman. And luckily, our documentarian or filmmaker or whatever had one of his guys that was able to do it.
That's
so
good.
It was all
it
was quick, and TJ Daly saved all of us. We were sponsored by Mount to Coast in the second one, and there was like one number in the shoe size that was off, so we had to go out and find new shoes for this guy on like a 3-day notice, and we knew Mount to Coast wasn't going to be able to ship them in and all this stuff. So it was scary, but we got it done, and TJ saved it.
I was like, yeah, TJ's probably got every size in his trunk.
Yes. He's the best.
He is the best. I got a pair of R1s that I ended up running the full mow in.
Yep.
I was glad I got enough miles on them to feel good about wearing them for the race. And they were great shoes. I mean, my feet hurt by the end of the full mow, but I feel like when you run 31 miles, your feet are going to hurt.
Your feet are going to hurt.
Especially when I don't do that all the time. So yeah, but they were great shoes. I forgot that they had sponsored you. And the camera guys, I can't remember. I'm trying to picture the pictures I've seen. Were they on bikes or were they literally running?
They were literally running the entire thing.
Easy.
Yeah, so if you go back and look at photos of either attempt, maybe not every photo because, they're good at staying discreet, but they're there and you can see them just running alongside us holding a GoPro in their hand.
That's great.
They're the real heroes of the show.
That is fascinating. Yeah.
They don't get their name on a plaque, and yet they still show up and do it for us.
Right. You should make them a fake honorary plaque.
we made sure they got a plaque and just doesn't have their name
good.
on it.
That's good. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, I find that so fun and fascinating that you guys did that. So congrats. I think it's really fun to be able to say that you're a Guinness Book of World Records record holder. I mean,
it is funny. It's like the perfect 2 truths and a lie at work or something or wherever.
Yes.
And as your daughter grows up, it's one of those, hey, this book that you won at the book fair, your old man's in it from an old version, right? So.
Right. It could be a great kids book too for her, write a kids book about the 5-person caterpillar. Broke a world record. Do you get notified if somebody attempts or breaks the record, or just you have to go check yourself if you...
You have to go check yourself. Now, I will say, because this is insane, about a month after we got the 4-person record at Geist, a group in Manchester beat our record, but it was never certified. So a group in Manchester did the 4-person Caterpillar in 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Shut up.
Uh-huh. So technically, if you look up online who holds the world record for the fastest 4-person half marathon, whatever, it shows the group in Manchester. But then if you go down to the first link, which is the official Guinness World Record site, it's still us. So it's like we've technically been beat. I'll honor it because 1 hour 14 is bananas.
Insane. That's insane.
Costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can happen. I'm good.
Right. You're like, now I got the 5-person anyway, so we're it's all good. You can have that one, and then do you know who Mike Cole is? Do you know Mike? Okay, so Mike Cole holds the Guinness Book of World Records record for the fastest marathon run holding a pizza. Yeah.
There's too much stuff out there.
Yeah,
I mean, the pizza has more merit than a Caterpillar.
It was pretty good. Well, he owns Greek pizzas around town, so that's why the pizza. And so anyway, I interviewed him a long time ago, but he's a badass. Mike. You'll have
That's
to
hilarious.
go, look him up. But I just find the Guinness Book of World Records stuff so interesting because there's records for everything. Do you remember when you were looking, like, how did you, I guess you saw the video on the internet. Did you look for any other running type ones, or was that the one that you're like, we're going to do that one?
That was it. That was really just the one. I was shocked after we did the 4-person that there was a 5-person and then a 6-person. Like, there's all these already previously set, which is insane.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've done it twice now. I have no interest in doing another one, so I don't. I mean, if you can hold a pizza, that's pretty sweet. I might do that.
Yeah, well, he froze the pizza and like held it under his arm for part. Like he had a whole strategy.
Smart.
Which, I was like,
we don't have a
sense.
strategy. The strategy for us was just to have
run fast,
strategy.
don't break.
Run fast, don't break.
Don't break. Yeah, I was going to ask if it was gender specific.
No, it is not.
I wonder if then I could be like, oh, I'm going to get 4 women and be the fastest women. I'm not fast enough probably to break a world record like that, but close.
I mean, there's so many out there. There's like the target is just all over the place.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think any of the costumed half marathons were gender specific.
Okay, interesting. Because I wonder if then you could fight for that and be like, well, we were women doing it, so we want a different record for us, you know? Interesting. I'm sure I could rope some women into it, but again, I would have to probably train for that. My half PR is 1:43, so I mean,
you can do. I mean, like the Caterpillar, it probably only cost you a couple minutes over the course of the half. Yeah. I mean, it's really light. It doesn't really.
Yeah. You just can't see, but.
Can't see.
Fine.
You know, you can't use the bathroom. It makes it challenging to get drinks, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Good
point. The drinks. Did you pass it back? Did you all go at once and like grab them?
No.
Just not hydrate at all?
Yeah. I've never, like the full no always freaks me out because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to worry about like gels and water and hydration. Whereas before I'm just like, regardless of how far I'm running, I'm just like, shoes, we're out, right? Let's just go. Yeah. Don't forget the sunglasses or the hat. But otherwise it's like, don't need water, don't need gels, don't need gummy worms. Or
just go. Jazz. Wow. That's so wild. So for the full mow then, how did you prepare? Did you have a vest? Did you carry stuff then to hydrate or?
No. So Cade and I ran together. We didn't wear vests or anything, but our wives were in on this and like really the superheroes of this whole thing because they met us like every couple miles and was like, what do you need? Do you need this? Do you need this? And, you know, kept us alive. But no, I mean, there was really no strategy. We were making it up as we go. It was mandatory, though. After the first time I did the full mow, I was at the FRC does a aid station, right?
Best one.
The Carmel Community Center.
Yes.
And the first year I ran it, I was there, and I didn't want anything, but I'm standing there, and I see fireball shots, and I'm like, well, of course. So I take a fireball shot, mile 19 or 20 at the full mow. And then this year, it was like a thing. Alan reached out to me, and I told him, like, dude, I'm only stopping if you have fireball shot. And sure enough, by the time we get to Carmel, Alan pulls up in the middle of the trail, gives Cade and I both a fireball shot. He takes one himself, and
I think I saw a picture of that. That's pretty great.
Yeah, we did it, and that's the only reason I finished. So
that's amazing. I was offered. I declined politely. They had like a half gallon of Fireball on the table.
that's what he drank out of.
I was like, holy moly. I remember I spectated at that aid station 2 years ago. And then last year I spectated at the Athletic Annex station, which was actually not the first one. It was the last one last year. And I remember just thinking about the FRC aid station, like the whole time I ran this time, I was like, I just got to get there.
You got to get to mile 20. Right.
That's going to be amazing. It's going to give me like new life. And it did, because they crushed it, as they always do, just with everything you could ever want at that aid station. So
no, they were awesome. I mean, I was so focused on just getting south that I didn't really pay attention to what anyone had on their table. I was just like, give me what I need and like,
did you not eat?
Get out of here.
Did you eat anything?
No, just gel.
Just gel. Okay, well, at least you did. I was like, geez, Zach, you got to eat some gels.
No, I don't think Cade had anything.
Jeez.
He might have had a gummy worm or two. Then another guy, one of Cade's buddies, I have to give this guy a shout out. He showed up. He didn't know he was running until the day before because someone dropped out and he just took their bib.
Jeez.
He had like 2 gels. He stored them in his hat because he didn't have pockets. It was all he had left in his pantry, and he got like 5th or something.
Of course. Just casually.
There's just people out there that are just gifted, and I am not one of them.
Yeah, it's so different. I'm thinking like I had at least 9 gels. I needed one more. My friend Lindsay gave me one. I ate a few pretzels here and there. I had some watermelon at the Fisher's Aid station. But yeah, people who don't fuel or don't have to fuel, I'm just like, wow, you guys are superhuman.
Yeah, no, I made it to mile 20, and then the taste of the gel would just make me derail.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, I'm done. Like, I don't want to see another gel. I'll just get there, and obviously the cramps start coming in at mile 25. You're like, hey, you should have gel.
Yeah. I'll never forget last year, this guy at the athletic annex, it was probably mile 27 we were at. And this guy comes up and he's like, hey, how long is this race? And I was like, well,
I heard that too, which is crazy.
What do you mean? I was like, well, we're at mile 27. And he's like, no, like, how long is the race? I'm like, I was so confused by the question. Because I'm like, what do you mean you don't know how far you have to run? Like, are you insane? Like, what if I would have said 50 miles? He'd have probably been like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they were joking but someone asked me the same thing when we were out there. I was just like,
really? This time?
Yeah. I was like, I mean...
Man, ultra runners.
Did they just get done with? Yeah. It's a different breed. I know we're both one of them now, but I refuse to believe that I'm an ultra runner.
You know what's weird is it hasn't sunk in for me, and I feel like I'm not a real ultra runner, even though I ran an ultra marathon. It's like, no, there's like people who started at midnight and ran from downtown to Sheridan, and then did it again.
Yeah,
and then Trent,
woke
who
up
did
and ran
Carmel. You're like, okay, that's an ultra marathoner, not me.
Yeah, I feel like 100K is the threshold. I feel like a fraud, and I don't mean to discredit anyone else's accomplishment
of course not. Yeah, that's not my intention either.
I feel like a fraud saying, yeah, I ran an ultra marathon. Well, how far was it? Oh, just like 4 miles further than, or not even 5 miles further than an actual marathon.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You ran back to your car after Monumental.
Right. Yeah. That doesn't count. Yeah. It's so funny to think about that. I tell people, it's like I tell my non-runner friends how far I ran, and they are just like flabbergasted. And then I tell my running friends, and they're like, cool. Like,
good job.
Ready to go. And you're like, I'm on the internet, and it's everybody runs ultra marathons on the internet. Yes. So you're like, oh, not a big deal. But we're ultra marathoners, okay? We did it.
Yep, it's real. It's official.
Yes.
I have an ultra sign-up account or whatever.
Right. I know. I do too now, which is kind of weird. And I didn't even know you could look to see who was running the race. That was new to me.
Really?
So apparently you can look before the race, you can go and you can see everybody who's registered.
Interesting.
Fun fact for anybody who does not know that. I learned that. And you can go obviously look at results now, but people will do that, especially for backyard ultras, where you're, trying to see who else can go the distance with you kind of strategy.
Yeah.
That's big, I guess. I don't know. I'm learning so much because I know nothing about ultra marathoning.
No, it's like preparing for a UFC fight. You don't know who you're fighting against for a backyard ultra. I mean, some of these guys, I'm signed up for Prairie on Fire this year. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not.
Oh, you're going to do it.
It's like,
you're going to do it.
I don't know.
You're going to do it.
Some of the people that do those are just absolute animals, and they'll just go 150 miles. Like, it's Tuesday, and wake up and do it again tomorrow. It makes no sense.
Yep, it is mind blowing. Well, I'm hoping to spectate at that race again this year. I went and spectated for the first time last year. So if the math for the full mo translates to Prairie on Fire, I guess I'll do Prairie on Fire next year because I have to spectate twice, and then eventually
there you go. Then you go.
Then I'll do it. Oh, man. Well, I think it's so interesting meeting somebody like you. I just see and assume you run all the time. You do all the races. And so I just think it's so interesting to talk to somebody who's like, yeah, I've done I do a couple races. Like, it's not my entire personality. How often do you run? Like, in the week when you're not trying to train for something?
Maybe 3 days, 4 days if I'm crazy. I mean, it's not like I'm not running. Right.
Yeah.
I try to do something every morning. So like this morning I swam, or I'll bike, or I'll do something. But I try to keep a good balance, because the issue that I faced was back in high school when I was just running, I would get injured all the time throughout college. So I was like, okay, we need to stop running and figure out something else that doesn't hurt. Mm-hmm. So then got into biking and swimming, and obviously that creates its own sport.
I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like you're getting into another sport.
Yes, done a couple of those. Those are a ton of fun. But yeah, I don't take it seriously. I think there's so many other things that I personally need to be concerned about that running is just kind of put on the back burner. that, yeah, it's fun when I get to do it. It's time to yourself. It's a great form of meditation, but it's like also not mandatory when so many other things are.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the one guy. I'll show up. I'll do a couple races a year, see what I can do, and use it more. Like I've chased a PR once in my life, but I'm mostly like a benchmark guy where it's like, okay, where am I actually at from a physical fitness perspective? Because my Garmin tells me I'm terrible.
Right, you're not productive at all.
Yeah, exactly. Where am I? Just so we know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, you're so fast just naturally. I mean, I think compared to the average person, right? Like you might not feel that way maybe compared to a couple of your friends, but it's like when I look at you guys, it's like, wow, that's above average speed for not, you're not the guys that are always constantly training to hit PRs, which I think is pretty great. You can go out and bang out a world record,
Yeah, I mean, I don't, look, I don't, yeah, sure, I might be a little over average. I don't know what the average even is.
I don't either, actually, but
like, there's so many more talented people out there that actually put in effort and actually show up and can run some incredible times. Like, I'm just a guy
who dresses as a caterpillar.
Yeah, I don't take it seriously. I don't try to compare myself to others because I know I always lose because I'm not like you might say I'm a fast runner, but like in reality, it's like the only person I'm competing against is myself from last year.
Yeah.
So it's like as long as I'm faster or relatively close, and I said I chased a PR this year or last year at Zionsville, and that's only because like I had gone through a few years. Like I ran a 1:21 when I was like 19 years old at the Indy Mini.
Woo, yeah.
And ever since, I've not even been able to get in 5 minutes of that. So I told Cade, one of the faster guys, I was like, dude, I need to run a sub 120. I don't care how it happens, it's happening. And we did it at Zionsville, thank goodness. So now I know I can do it, but that screws me up.
Now you can just mic drop. You're like, okay, well, I did that, so now I
can do it. I'm better than I was when I was 19 years old.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah,
see, that is flying. So anyway, okay, I want to transition back to the personal side before I ask you the end of the podcast questions, because you have a really cool engagement story, and I always love stuff like this. But first, how did you meet your wife?
We met back in high school. We were high school sweethearts. Actually, no, I take that back. We met in middle school. We started dating in high school. So
wow.
But we met the old-fashioned way of online, and the rest is history. Now we've been married 5 years. We have a daughter. Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Okay, I'm dying over the fact that you said the old-fashioned way, and I was thinking, oh yeah, like in the hallway, and then you're like online, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm so old.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, it wasn't any of the apps because I was in middle school. I couldn't sign up for
Tinder.
Whatever. Yeah. So it's funny. It's hard to explain that to grandparents. He's like, "What's Instagram?"
Right. Yeah.
And why are my grandkids on it? But no, I mean everything happens for a reason.
Right.
It's perfect. But no, the engagement. It's a crazy story.
It is so cool. Tell us.
Like I was in radio, and it's like, okay, if I'm going to get engaged, like. I've always thought I was the guy that was like mountain scenery, like all this like fancy stuff. And then I started thinking about it, and this was during the time we were planning one of our concerts at the radio station. They don't do them anymore, but when I was there, we used to do Birthday Bash and Jingle Jam with CPL. It was summer concert, winter concert. And we were doing Jingle Jam at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, or Gainbridge now. And one of the guys we booked has a song I like, and he's a really cool dude, and we know each other. His name's Max. The name doesn't ring a bell, but if you look up his catalog, you're going to recognize a couple songs. So I know we booked him for like the middle act. We had an opener, and then Lizzo was headlining. And I reached out to Max and was like, dude, listen, I got an idea. And he jumped all in with like, yes, we're doing this. And sure enough, middle of the set, actually it's towards the end, he said, hey, I'm going to bring up Zach, and he's going to do this. So my wife and I got engaged center stage at Bankers Life Fieldhouse back in 2019.
So cool. So did she know what was going to happen then at that point? Because you had to be backstage with her, or how'd you orchestrate that?
We always had all access just because we were part of the radio station. Yeah. So it wasn't like out of the ordinary.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it shocked me too, just like being there, because I'm a fan watching this guy from the side stage, and I'm just like, this is awesome. And then next thing you know, security guards coming with me with a flashlight, like, hey dude, let's go. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this. And, checking pockets, like, do I have the
Yeah.
ring?
Do
What am
I
I going
have
to
it?
say? I had done a stage announcement just before that. My mic wasn't working, so I was kind of traumatized.
Yeah. Please.
So it's like everything worked. Everything's got to be
Please.
great.
Yeah.
But no, it was awesome. And then
Wow.
she didn't know, but her family was all there too. So we got to go hang out with them afterwards.
That's so amazing. So did she, like, as you walked, you like turned to her and you're like, we're going to go out there? Was she like, what do you mean?
Yeah, so something about my wife is she's very quiet. She is very private. So for her to get on stage in front of, 17, 18,000 people is nerve-wracking. It is for anybody.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things like, I'm going to grab your hand and I'm not going to let go, and I'm going to drag you up there if I have to, because this is going to look bad on both of us if we don't do this.
Yeah.
So
just trust me.
Yeah, just trust me. This is going to be fun. And then
That's so cool.
it was awesome.
And getting the ring into the stadium, because going through security, they usually have you empty your pockets. But like, given your all access, were you able to avoid like her seeing that? I mean, I feel like that would be kind of tricky.
Yeah. So I got there earlier in the day.
Perfect. Okay.
So I parked in the basement and walked through like a different security checkpoint. So the ring was already backstage in a separate room when she got there. So she had no idea what was going on. And then, I went to the front and got her and brought her back and everything, but she had no clue.
Oh, excellent. I love that story so much. Oh, man. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you the end of the podcast questions now.
Sure.
With a bonus question to start, okay?
Uh-oh.
The bonus question is, what is your favorite flavor of Bluebell ice cream?
Oh, that's a great question. See, this is going to be very controversial because I know a lot of people think cookies and cream is the best, and a lot of people think cookie dough is the best. However, Bluebell makes a flavor called Cookie Two-Step, which has both. It is cookies and cream and chocolate chip cookie dough all in one. And it is diabetes in a cup, and it's the greatest thing ever.
Sign me up for that. That sounds so good.
Best.
Okay, and why Bluebell?
Let's be honest. It's the only real ice cream in the stores. It's just the best. No, I grew up. My dad always bought Bluebell.
Oh, that's amazing.
Kind of
Love
the
it.
gold standard for us.
Cookie Two-Step. I'm going to look for it. Where can I buy it locally?
Oh, everywhere.
Kroger, everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, now for the official two end of the podcast questions. The first is, what is your favorite running song and or mantra?
Song or mantra? I'll go with the song side. I have a playlist on my Garmin that I have had for probably 2 years now. The whole time I've had a Garmin, because I keep forgetting how to change the songs from Spotify on my Garmin.
Yeah.
So it's the same grouping of songs, but I would say like the go-to artists within that catalog are probably KB, Cameron Whitcomb, and Josiah Queen, maybe.
Okay.
Just all across the board.
Love it.
Yeah,
So do you not run
emotions.
with your phone then?
No.
Okay, interesting. And then do you have a mantra or like something you tell yourself while you're running?
Not really. Just, don't have to use the bathroom in the middle of this cornfield.
Oh God. Yeah, we could talk about that. That was a struggle for anyway.
That's I don't really have anything like that. It's just more
get it done. Okay, and then next finish line or milestone.
Yeah, I mean, as we discussed, I don't really think like putting a race here is like technically the right thing. Because like I said, I got something coming up. I don't even know if I'm going to do it. And I don't have any races on the calendar other than that. But I would say like, we just talked about my wife and I. We have our 5-year anniversary June 5th. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know
tomorrow.
when this podcast comes out, but tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a milestone that we're both really proud of and something to celebrate.
Half a decade, man.
Yes.
It goes fast. Were you going to do something special? Do you have like a ritual or a place you go to dinner?
Not really. We like trying new places out, so we're gonna go to a new spot and have fun. Just do dinner. Have the grandparents watch the little one, so we can get some peace and quiet.
Perfect. Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. Good. Well, congrats. That's exciting.
Yes.
Big milestone. You. And now, if TJ Daly is listening, which I'm now going to make sure he listens, he will make sure you run Prairie on Fire.
Yes.
He's hard man to say no to. He wore me down,
see.
Man. He wore me down. So.
I mean, I might go out there. What time does it even start? I forget. It's like 8 in the morning or 8 at night. I don't know.
I think 8 in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Right. It'd be great. And he'll just say, "Oh, all you have to do is just go, you can just run a couple laps or yards and then stop." I'm like, "Yeah, TJ, that's not what happens when you get out there." Like
I'll run a couple yards, but a couple of yards in the actual measurement book, not 4 miles. I'll go 3 feet and call it a day.
Right. Yeah, an actual yard. Perfect. Well, thanks for doing this, Zach. It was really fun.
No, thank you. This is fun.
Yeah, really fun. So, and thank you to everybody who has listened, and happy running. That's how we do it.
There you go.
Okay, now, wherever you are, go to the show notes, wherever you're listening, or remember to go to the show notes when you get back from the run or out of the car, and sign up for Finish Lines and Milestones weekly emails. I send those every Friday with stuff about my own running, my episodes, things I love that are running related, usually, and I try to make them not suck. So that's the best way to support the show. Of course, you can always share. That helps others find the podcast. And thank you so much to Gooder and Noogs for supporting this episode. If you want to hear more about my full Mo experience, you can listen to this month's episode of Catching Up with Coach, which is the June episode where we dive into that. And I also have a full recap coming soon, so stay tuned for that as well. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.